welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the 105 leFH18B2, the French Tier 5 Premium SPG that we know and love as Fifi La Pew Pew, which other people know as a leFH or a leaf blower. This one's on the southwest spawn of Glacier, under the command of Little Benzo. Well, there's two leFHs in this game on this team and also two on the enemy team, so I presume that it's on sale at the moment. That might be the reason why there's so many games with Fifis. It's a tier 5 game with tier 5 Arty, so plenty of chance to earn a lot of damage on the enemy. Little Benzo's decided to go to the trees behind the cap area. Now, despite the fact that he knocked that tree down, I think it's pretty difficult to actually see that tree going down in that little area there because there's so many trees all together. You can see that his Fifi doesn't fire over the entire range of the map because the reticule's getting flattened, but it is effective. Just fired a blind shot over at the tank destroyer position. He's expecting somebody to be there. Well, no results, so maybe there wasn't anybody home. He's carrying a fair amount of heat rounds in this battle. As you know that Fifi is one of the few Arty that had heat rounds and armor piercing rounds right from the start, because it's a premium Arty. They only have two premium SPGs that are normally on sale. It's either the Sexton 1 or the Fifi, and they don't put them on sale all that often, mainly because the whining ninnies, I said that's the word, it's a British word, those people, those players who whine about Arty being OP and attacking it. Of course, what we're seeing at the moment in the Ukraine is that Arty is absolutely crucial at destroying tanks, because you're seeing many videos of artillery barrages taking out tanks, tracking them, and generally causing mayhem against the enemy. Arty are very effective in war. Okay, he got a lovely shot there on the Wolverine, and now he's hit the Skoda T24, and that was a penetrating shot for 421. He's tried another one over. He's one of these players who he fires and then moves over to another target straight away. He's going over to where the Wolverine was last seen, and then he pulls back. Oh, it looks like he got a direct hit there because there was no explosion. So I suspect he did hit the Wolverine, and yet again he fires and then pulls back, so you can't actually easily see if he's actually hitting the target or not. Up on top of the carrier we can see a Wolverine's managed to get up there. He's looking around for a target to shoot at. He can't hit the Wolverine at the moment, but he might be able to later on. That Skoda, if he keeps moving back, might become a useful target. Rounds out. Long flight time for this one. Sadly, I'm having to do this replay without mods because it won't run with, at least it won't run with the with the sound. So I can get it to run with the mods, but obviously you wouldn't get the full effect. Oh, that was a penetrating shot on the rear of the Skoda, or at least it seemed to be a penetrator. And he's now trying to get the Wolverine, fires around in, and again pulls back, so we can't see what happened. He could have hit that tank and we'd never know. Yes, unfortunately we don't like players doing this, because if they do, then it ruins the game for us. So what I'm doing is, oh no, he's done it again, you see. He's obviously got himself into this habit where he fires and then pulls back so he doesn't see what happens to the vehicle. So I'm going to take control of the camera here. He fires in. It doesn't matter if he looks away because we can see what's going on. That's what should be happening. Okay, fires around in at the target. You see, because he couldn't see the target, he didn't pull back. And that's a psychological response, you see, because if somebody pulls back, it's obviously because they're scared of seeing the tank hit. And what they should be doing is sticking with the target regardless. Okay, he goes for the T1. I'm going to take control of the camera again. Rounds out. Nope, goes to the right, that one. Okay, T1 Heavy. Rounds out. He looks away. Oh! Right through the rear. That was definitely a penetrating shot. The alpha on this Arty is 410. So to get 322 means he definitely bent the engine deck of that T1 Heavy tank. Good job I did stay with the picture, because otherwise you wouldn't have got to see that T1 Heavy go bang. Okay, well the enemy's actually approaching our gap area, and our guys have formed a kind of defensive perimeter, even though they're actually winning, because there are 2 tanks up on the enemy. And we're seeing Arty rounds coming from the enemy area. I don't know if you saw that, but there was a tracer coming straight towards us. I don't think the Arty knows where we are, but it does kind of indicate that he's firing in our direction. Okay, we're having a quick look up on the carrier, because that T-67, or an enemy T-67, was seen up there. And yet again, he looks away after shooting. It's kind of a flinch reaction. If you flinch after you fire, I think it's mainly because you don't want to see the death and destruction as a result of your shell. You're trying to look away. In fact, it's something that a lot of people do have to control, because if you do look away after you shoot, you probably won't hit the target. Okay, we can see the enemy Arty is focusing on our Wolverines, and oh, just their T-67 just killed our Wolverine. So the enemy is getting closer, and it does look like that T-67 is up on the carrier, or at least he's somewhere nearby. There's an M10 RBFM making its way down into the onto the lake bed. That was a bit of a snapshot, that one. Didn't quite work. You can see the tracers from the enemy Arty coming out from their cap area. The enemy's now getting very close to our cap. Now here could be an opportunity to take out that RBFM, because if you line the shot up and dial in fully and fire, you should be able to wipe him out, and he does. Yeah, right in the face, that one. But because he's in the current position he is, he can't get a shot on that M4A1, because there's a rock face in the way. So he's going to have to wait for that guy to get very close before he can get a shot. In fact, so close that he could almost chuck stones at him, or snowballs. In fact, if he comes around the corner, he'll be staring him in the face. So I think that's how close he's got. That M4A1 is on approach. Well, we're now down to just 3 members of our team, and there's still 5 in the enemy team, so we've lost a huge number of teammates. And so 3 against 5, but Little Benzo's got 3 kills, which is not bad. But he's going to have to go some if he's going to help his team to win. The Bishop's slightly behind him and to his left, shooting in the same direction. The Striv M42 is, well, trying to stop the enemy tanks coming in from the other direction. And we've just spotted an Su-85I. Oh, he has. And we can't get a shot on him because of the mound of earth that's in front of us, or the rock face in front of us. So he's on his own, really. And that Su-85I is basically a repurposed Stug. And here comes the M4. Oh, right in the face, as I said, yes. And we got spotted there, because he got so close. And so Little Benzo's having to move, and the Arty shells are starting to come in. Yep, that was to be expected. The moment you get spotted, Arty shells will start raining down on this area. Well, they've lost sight of us, that's one good thing, but they're going to see us again, and yes they have. The Su-85 saw us, and he's backing away, which is the correct thing to do, because it means we have to go in and, that's right, shotgun them in the face. So he's got 5 kills now, and he needs to keep moving. So's the Bishop, because they were both seen. It's 2 Arty versus 3 Arty, and the Bishop goes down. So now it's Little Benzo facing 3 enemy Arty, a Bishop and 2 Fifis. And he's lost a huge amount of hit points, obviously, from that Su-85I. But the enemy Arty are just continuing to rain shells down in the general area, hoping that they might be able to get little Benzo, and I don't think they can, because I don't think they can see where he is. And of course, remember, he's got the same view range as them, 390 meters. So the moment they come towards this gap area, and they're going to have to do that, he's going to spot them and be able to take them out. Now, one of the Arties on the enemy team is a Bishop. As you know, that's based on the Valentine tank. And, well, it's got a 4.5 inch howitzer. It is capable, but it has got a very low view range. It's only 250 meters. So obviously he'd have to get very close to see little Benzo, and I don't think he'll get close enough before he gets taken out. There's a lot of chat going on. I really hope you get killed by Sharty. Serve you right for ignoring them all game. Well, it looks like one of the members of his own team was being very unkind to him. And little Benzo's loaded the heat now to try and take out the enemy Arty with a one-shot kill. And there's one of them firing in, but obviously it looks like he didn't see where little Benzo was. But little Benzo's going to have to spot them in order to kill them. He's doing his own spotting. You see the outbound shells? That guy's guessing where little Benzo is, and he's guessing wrong. And again. Not working out for the enemy Arty. He obviously has no clue. And here comes the Bishop. Oh, that was so close to the Bishop. Line him up. Yeah, that's a hit. That went straight through the armor. 401 hit points. It's 350 alpha with the heat rounds. And he gets him with the second shot. So it's now 1 versus 2. But remember, the next two enemy Arty that he's got to attack are the same as him. They're Fifis. They're 105 leFH18B2s. And that means, yes, they're both going to have the same advantages of view range. And yes, he's been spotted, mainly because he's up high. And that means the enemy's firing at him. And in fact, that was a heat round from the other Fifi, not the one that he's looking at the moment. So he does need to change position to avoid getting hit. Well, he hit the enemy Fifi, but he didn't pen him. But he might be able to get him in the next round. Yes, he does! So now it's 1-on-1, and the enemy Arty at the other end couldn't get a shot on little Benzo when he went behind that rock. So now he's changing position. And he spotted the other Arty. He was very close. And they've both seen each other. So it's who's going to win first. Well, he missed with his the enemy Fifi missed, but little Benzo doesn't. And that is a Radley Walters and the game. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was an ace tanker game for little Benzo in the 105 leFH18B2. He got a counter battery because he took out all three enemy Arty, the Bishop, and both of the Fifis. He also got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got, I think that's 11, unless my eyes deceive me. No, it is 11. He also managed to get a Radley Walters medal for killing 8 enemy vehicles. And when he was killing them so quickly, I actually lost count when he got his top gun, which was, of course, the Bishop. And then, of course, he killed the other two Artys fairly quickly afterwards. And he also got a high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game and a top gun for getting at least 6 kills. His win rate from the battle, 10,456, which is super unicum and quite a bit more. In fact, it's rather uncharitable of that P43 to wish him that he died soon, because he actually won the battle for them and saved their necks. So yes, after they failed to take out all the enemy tanks, he succeeded in taking out the enemy Arty face to face. Let's have a look at the team score. Well, little Benzo managed to get 2,324 hit points of damage, the only player to go over 2,000. The next highest scorer being the T67 on the enemy team with 1,589, and the third highest on damage was the SU-85I with 1,196. Nobody else on his team managed to get over 1,000 hit points, which just goes to show that P43 driver, if he'd been a little better as a tank player, then maybe Little Benzo wouldn't have had to have done all the work to try and win the game. When it came to kills, Little Benzo got 8, the next highest scorer being T67 with 5, and then 2 players managed to get 2 kills apiece, the Stug 4 and the T1 Heavy on the enemy team. And of course, remember, he killed that one with a shot to his engine bay. And when it came to base XP, yeah, he's got that one as well. So he's got the top in all 3 columns. 1,268 went to Little Benzo. 503 went to the M10, so this guy had, well, just under a third of the XP that Little Benzo managed to get. And then 472 went to the OI Experimental and the T67 on the enemy team. Little Benzo fired 34 rounds in that game, so he still had 16 rounds of ammo left at the end of the game. In fact, he did expend rather a lot of heat ammo at the end of the game. Rather than using the HE, he was using the heat to make sure he got the pen on the enemy vehicles. He actually got 13 direct hits on the enemy and 7 penetrations. Yeah, he was massively hitting those enemy tanks. He penetrated the Skoda twice, if you remember, who's over on the far northwest corner of the map. And he got 2 pens on that guy. He also got 2 pens on the Bishop, would you believe it? And yes, he did pen the T1 Heavy, the one that went through the engine bay, 322 hit points right through him. And he also penned one of the Fifis there. And did he pen the other one? Yes, he did. So he penned all 3 of the enemy Arty during that game. He also got 7 splash on the enemy. Damage of 2,324 hit points, of which 1,632 were at more than 300 meters. He did receive a hit. That was from the SU-85I. It was a penetration one. It was an 85mm round at very close range. I would be surprised if it didn't pen, but there was always the hope that the SU-85I might accidentally hit the tracks. And remember, the Fifi is a heavy tank in disguise. Everything from the gun shield downwards is heavy tank. And so if you hit it in the wrong place, the shell just won't go through. He spotted 3 enemy vehicles. I think that's all 3 of the Arty. 9 enemy vehicles were damaged, 8 were killed, and he earned 55,533 credits for the game, 50,000 for completing a mission, 105,533 credits altogether, and after repair and ammunition resupply, took away a profit of 73,560 credits. 1,902 XP times 2 for the first victory, 761 for this being a premium vehicle, took away 4,565 experience points altogether. Absolutely fantastic round. Yes, he really pulled it out of the hat at the end there, Little Benzo. I mean, he was. I said that M4A1 was going to come around the corner and almost meet him face to face, and that's exactly what happened. And of course, Little Benzo had to scarp her afterwards because they were so close to each other that they proximity spotted, and so he had to get out of there because the enemy Arty were going to focus on him straight away that he was spotted. He did manage to get away, obviously then went straight into the face of an SU-85I and even took him out with a shotgun. And then, well, amazing that he managed to hang on, take out all 3 enemy Arty and win the game for his team. So yes, very well done indeed. Congratulations on the Radleys. You don't often see it for Arty, but it does happen often. It does happen sometimes, rather, I should say, not often. And you do get pools medals for Arty as well, but this one was a particularly good one because he was all alone against so many enemies. And when the Bishop on his team was finally wiped out, yes, it was just him against 3 Artys, and that's a bit of an ask, especially when you're trying to cover the cap area. But he did the right thing, actually. Going up high like he did actually gave him the opportunity to see that Bishop at long range. And it was surprising that it was the Bishop that first went to the cap area or got close, because it's quite a slow little Arty, the Bishop, not particularly fast. But it was the enemy Fifis that actually took their time about arriving. And when they did, obviously, they both spotted each other at the same time. And then it was a case of who was best at dueling. And of course, Lil Benzo was definitely better at playing the Fifi than the other two, because he took both of them out, no problem. If you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And please remember to let people know that we're giving all of the proceeds from the channel to the Red Cross Ukraine appeal to help the refugees coming out of the war. So the more of our videos that you watch, even if they're absolutely terrible videos with a terrible commentary, I know I'm not that great, but even if they are, please watch as many as you can, because every video you watch is earning money which we can then send to the refugees to help them out. Thank you very much indeed for watching.